eliminated.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So, in case you couldn't tell, these last two of the what are they? What's the 8?
The Elite Eight.
The Elite 8. How much have you had to drink?
I'm a carnival barker now.
I repeat my question. How much have you had to drink?
Not much.
Okay.
I don't have a fighter in this last matchup, so I'm the carnival barker.
That's fair. Okay, so in the final 8, the last 2 matches, the one that you just watched, or maybe yesterday watched, and this one is, again, another Sean and me matchup.
Yep. So
Sean is representing Ryu from Street Fighter 2 in particular, and I am representing Kirby from Smash Ultimate in particular. And a little bit of off-camera discussion, we decided, based solely off of the idea that canon and the game that they come from do not always match up. Specifically in referring to Ryu, Ryu does have a power-up that doesn't come in the second game, but because of the timeline, he does get this power-up, so we are allowing him to have that power-up during this fight. So that's just kind of a side note, so if anyone's like, you didn't do that in the first or second, yeah, we know. We've decided this at a later point.
To be fair, he didn't need it to beat Trevor.
No. Yeah, to be fair. Okay.
30 seconds of red mist isn't going to kill Ryu.
Realistically, yeah. So, I lost the last round, so I guess I get to pick my point. So I'm going to choose to defend. So, Sean, I'm going to have you take the floor for starting with Ryu, and we'll see how this goes.
All right.
I'm going to try to get one of my guys into the final round.
So one of the things about Ryu is, like we've said before, he's a world champion. He's a world champion fighter. Fighting is literally it for him. He doesn't like women, doesn't like drugs, doesn't even like the liquors.
What about men?
Maybe with Ken. I don't know. It's kind of
can.
weird. But for the most part, fighting is everything for him. So a tournament is perfect for someone like Ryu. As we've said before, he has the Hadouken, the Shoryuken, the spin kick. And one of the other things, too, is his sheer strength. Like we said, he is basically superhuman. If Batman had magical powers, you'd have Ryu. So
Without the cool gadgets.
Exactly. But if you can shoot fire from your hands, I guess you don't need a Batarang. Oh my god, a Hadouken Batarang. Sorry. So going back to that, like we said, this is the character that it defaults to in these games. It's the one that can win any fight just because the way he's balanced, it's anyone can play as the character. With a match against Kirby, knowing that a lot of his stuff is going to be based around sucking my character up, as we said, he might blow his way to the final. I think that it's going to be a sheer overpower. Even if he assumed the power of the Hadouken, anyone will tell you that Ryu whips Ken's ass any day. So just because someone has the same powers as him, I'm giving this to Ryu. Plus, in the first Street Fighter game, there was a mini game where literally Ryu would break stones with his fists.
It's funny you bring up fists and stones, because Kirby also did that in Kirby Superstar and Superstar Ultra. That's a minigame, Megaton Punch, where he literally not only punched through stones, but he split a planet in half with that same punch. So he's done the same kind of thing. Yeah, Kirby is a weird being. He's got some strange powers.
I almost feel like we have to disqualify Kirby at this point, then.
I mean, that's a whole different situation. But my other piece, as far as arguments we've kind of touched upon, Kirby is this kind of weird amalgamation, jack-of-all-trades kind of character. Can absorb the main weapon. And yes, in Ryu's situation, it is the Hadouken. And we know this not only because that's his signature move, but because Ryu appears in Smash Brothers. He is a playable character in Smash Ultimate. And I know for a fact that when they fight each other, when he absorbs him, he gets the Hadouken, which also means that in game logic, if he does the same button combination it takes to do the more powered up Hadouken, Kirby can too. So he gains that knowledge of how to do a perfect Hadouken. It's not as powerful as Ryu's, but he does gain that ability. So he does get that knowledge by absorbing him. I'm also putting out there that Kirby is very fast. Like, he is seen outrunning, he's outrun an exploding spaceship with a minute and a half, and he's outran the explosions. He's outran a minecart going downhill. Like, he's pretty fast. And considering all the factors of, he also can fly with sucking up air and floating in the air. Like, he can avoid Ryu for as long as he wants. And as we kind of established last time, Ryu has 99 seconds that he's used to fighting. Kirby is used to fighting epic 20-minute battles if he needs to. So he's got that endurance. That's what I'm putting out there.
Okay.
As soon as you mentioned that punching thing, I was like, I gotta say it. I gotta say that Kirby has it too. I'm so excited. I would have forgotten about that.
For me, it's just Kirby can't turn into a stone to defend because Ryu would just smash him.
He totally would.
So, can Kirby suck and devour the Hadouken? If Ryu is not near him but shoots the Hadouken, can Kirby,
The love bug.
The love
can Kirby digest the Hadouken itself?
So,
Or would he just turn into a brick to not take damage?
okay, so you bring up a good question. So, realistically, yes, you can do both. As far as Smash is concerned, Kirby does have the ability to eat some of the attacks. I don't remember if Ryu's Hadouken is one of them, but energy projectiles, things like that, Kirby can, instead of trying to dodge it, can eat them. Explosive attacks do damage, but anything else usually heals him a little bit. So I don't know for sure. I cannot make that call. But I would say if he can't absorb the attack with his mouth, he would definitely go stone temporarily, because while we kind of mentioned that Ryu can punch and break stone, this is an invulnerability kind of stone thing. It's like a magic thing. So as he turns into the stone, it's not that he becomes just a stone that you can punch. He's turned into an invulnerable, non-moving object, which that is the downside to that ability. He cannot move while he is a stone, unless he's on a slanted surface.
We've established previously, because one of the ways he beat Sweet Tooth was the stone lasts, 8 seconds?
Roughly, yeah.
Roughly 8 seconds. If he goes into the stone, how quick does he come out of it ready to fight?
Ready to fight, there's about a 1.5 second delay where he cannot fight back.
How quick is Ryu moving?
I was going to say Ryu is probably moving almost superhuman speed.
So he is probably...
This is a guy that's ending people in 99 seconds.
Yeah,
Speed is all about him.
He's moving faster than a human, for sure.
Okay, so...
And as I kind of alluded to, Kirby's really fast. I mean, there's legitimately an entire thing called the gourmet race where he runs and eats super fast. Like, he clears an entire obstacle course eating like 99 pieces of food in under a minute. So he's fast.
So, Ryu shoots the Hadouken. Kirby goes into his brick. Is Kirby ready to fight before Ryu is on him? Or is Ryu on him ready to deliver a Shoryuken before Kirby is ready to fight?
I think
the bigger question...
Ryu's already punching the brick.
I was going to say the question is, once he uses the Hadouken, is he able to move in front of the Hadouken and get ready to attack Kirby when he comes out of that invincibility stone, or does he have to wait until the Hadouken is made contact, or does he have to wait until it's like not right in front of him?
In fairness, he has to follow the Hadouken.
I think following Street Fighter 2, the Hadouken moves fast enough that it's across the screen,
Right.
but as soon as he fires it, he can already start moving.
Okay. So he's definitely... Kirby, when coming out of the stone, is going to take some damage, but part of the benefit is that he is so lightweight that one good punch is going to knock him far away, and it's not... We're not going by Smash rules, so it's not like there's a blast zone where he gets thrown off and he's instant KO'd. he's thrown far away, and Kirby's ability to fly and all these other things, this kind of gives him that lightweight, helps him in this sense where, Ryu punches him really hard, Kirby goes flying, Ryu is trying to catch up to him, but Kirby can, get on his feet or start flying and wait and that kind of thing. Because the other thing is, while in the air, he can transform into the stone and spike straight down.
Speaking of flying, does Ryu have a way to attack the sky? Is the Hadouken something that can be aimed up? Besides like the Shoryuken where he can do the uppercut straight up.
I mean,
in that game, no. But the one thing that he can do, and is constantly his method of movement in that game, is the Tatsumaki spin kick, which he literally jumps into the air and does a helicopter kick all the way to the other side of the screen. So he goes across the screen completely. And even if his head hits you when you're jumping, you still do damage because he's just spinning.
It's more of a horizontal, but it does have that height as well.
When Kirby's his brick, what is the rough weight or mass that he is taking? Because you've said he is basically a walking black hole.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that helped him beat Sweet Tooth.
So realistically, the stone ability, as it's called, he turns into one of random items. So if this gives you any idea, he can turn into a thwomp, a golden statue that is 8 times larger than Kirby himself. Like, this is a transformation where he turns into some kind of heavy object. And that's why it's like, it's been a brick block from Mario, it's been a treasure chest, it's been so many things that are actually like heavy objects. So it's a heavy mass. It's not tiny little, it's not a pebble coming down off the Empire State Building. It's fucking Thwomp from Super Mario Brothers coming down from the Empire State Building.
So
if we're talking height-wise.
So I've been holding off just because it's the trump card when it comes to Ryu, and this is why Andrew asked this. One of the deal breakers on this is going to be Ryu's power of the Dark Hadu, which, if you aren't familiar, is basically Super Saiyan Ryu. The other thing, too, is regardless of Kirby absorbing a Hadouken, this is not something that Kirby would have the power to do. The Dark Hadu is only used by 2 people, and it's a skill that Ryu had to basically train to be able to use. With the Dark Hadu, he has not only increased power, increased muscle mass, increased speed, increased firepower. The Hadouken becomes even stronger. Literally, they call Akuma basically the world ender, and that's another person that uses the Dark Hadu. The Dark Hadu was the power-up we were talking about because it didn't come into play until the Alpha series, which technically takes place before Street Fighter 2. So essentially you have Super Saiyan 2, Ryu going up against Kirby.
So, and both you can answer this before your final arguments here. One of the things that is still hung up with Kirby is when he sucks someone in, he gets all their strengths, but not their weakness. Right. Which you said Ryu can beat Ken, who has the same power, so we're kind of at a stalemate. If Ryu is in the Dark Hadu state and Kirby inhales him, does Kirby get Dark Hadu Ryu powers?
I don't know if he would.
So based off of the logic of Smash Brothers, because that's what our base for Kirby is, the answer would be no. Simply because there are... Actually, hold on. So let me ask this question of Sean. When Ryu taps into this, is this a full different form, or is this a power-up?
It usually becomes a different form.
Okay, so then he would be able to copy it. If it was just a power-up, that'd be different. Simply because there are characters and whatnot from Smash where they power up, and Kirby does not copy that ability. but if it's a different form, he can copy whichever one he absorbs. So he would be able to, if we're classifying it as a form, but obviously, as we've kind of established before, he doesn't get a power up to it. It's just whatever the base of what he copied. So he's not, able to tap into deeper reserves and be stronger than Ryu in that form if Ryu has, is used to that. So that would be my piece as far as just knowing the lore and everything. I just needed an explanation for Ryu.
All right. What final arguments we got here? Well, I'm going to my final thought process.
As far as Kirby's concerned, like I said, the big thing is his lightweight nature makes him essentially a featherweight. So the moment he's getting hit, he's bouncing away. And in normal kind of fights, that wouldn't necessarily be the best strategy. But in a situation where this is a death match, if he can get a huge distance, and it's even hard for Ryu to keep up with because one strong punch, he's flying across the map. Like, that's giving Kirby enough time to heal up a little bit, prepare for the next piece. If he was a heavier kind of person, like, and literally any not just puff ball of air, I would say, Ryu's catching up to him every single time he hits him because he's not flying nearly as far. But it's because he's got that, Ryu has that super strength. Kirby is super lightweight. He's flying so far, it's going to be hard to keep up, even with Ryu's increased speed. I'm just saying, like, as far as survivability in a life or death situation, my money's going on Kirby just because of the versatility of his moveset.
What you got, Sean?
So for me, when it comes to Ryu, I think sheer power alone, Ryu's got it. And I agree with Alex. This is a guy punching a beach ball. As soon as you punch it, it is gone and away from you. Ask Cesaro. But the one thing that I think that Ryu has is the ranged attacks. With Kirby absorbing a Hadouken, once again, one of the game mechanics in Street Fighter is jumping over a Hadouken. It's what Ryu does when he faces Ken. He just jumps over it. It's very easy for him to jump over because he's used to that. Fighting Ken is second nature. Fighting Pink Ken is done. And I think that Ryu is Shoryuken Kirby to the curb.
When you mention Ryu, might be interested in the man, I can't help but say, but sure you can.
Right?
Sure you can. Woohoo! Let's get together. Yeah, Andrew, you're the judge on this one. I would not want to be the judge on this one.
This might be the hardest one to call.
I don't know. That last one was kind of hard. A lot of these have been really hard.
Yeah, I was going to say Arbiter versus Banjo-Kazooie was really hard.
That was an easy one.
This one, we've got a world-class fighter who can beat anyone versus an opponent that can become him.
Yeah.
Without losing a step of himself.
Yeah.
For Ryu to get into the dark power, does he need to take damage or can he summon it at will?
It's usually after taking damage. It's rage related. Man, if I had that would have been easy to beat the Red Mist.
We made the argument, Andrew.
I know, this is tough. Either one could win. Either one could lose. Either one could end in a draw.
Yeah.
But somebody needs to move on because Mega Man X cannot get a bye into the finals.
Nope.
Yeah, that would not be good.
One hit point each left. I'm talking like smash
If it's
overtime.
smash overtime, one hit solves it all. I mean, we would have to consider that Ryu's not in that rage form, and Kirby is not absorbed Ryu and doesn't have any kind of benefit. We're talking pure, just the two of them against each other.
I think Kirby's quicker. He's hitting the punch,
Yeah.
but there's not as much power behind the punch.
The only thing I would say is that Kirby's dash attack in Smash is the blazing fireball, where he literally turns into fire as he dashes forward. He becomes a literal fireball that speeds forward.
Which, Hadouken, it's just
Exactly. So
shooting
it's
backwards.
it's pretty much like if in the time that it takes Kirby to close that range and have that same power to hit Ryu could use the Hadouken, and that would essentially be just a clash. So it's like, realistically, one hit point each. It's the matter of, I would say, honestly, invulnerability frames. As Kirby's in that fireball, he doesn't take damage. But if that ends before he hits Ryu, Kirby's done. But if he times it and hits Ryu with it, Ryu's done. It's literally a matter of frame perfect. When does that happen? When does the invulnerability frame stop? When does the flame attack peter out? When is it no longer able to do damage?
Yeah, I think asking that question made it harder, Andrew.
Yeah.
So I need to go play Smash Ultimate and go frame by frame for a little bit.
Which
I know
is
they
the
have it
other
built
thing
in.
that sucks about that too, is because Ryu is completely depowered
Yes.
in Smash Ultimate. It's Little Mac with a long range. They did him dirty.
Although if you do input the specific button presses, you can get them to be closer to it, which is good. You got to make a choice here.
Either one can honestly win this match.
I know. That's why it was so hard. Tune in next time to find out the results.
It's going to be controversial.
No matter what you pick, it's controversial.
It's going to be controversial, but Sweet Tooth's going to the finals. Both of them kill each other.
Sweet Tooth walks
back up like, oh, hey.
He pulls a Rudy.
He's got that wish finally.
He wishes to go to the next round.
He wishes to be against Mega Man X. So he got a bye week.
So
He wished for a bye.
I'm going to give this one to Kirby only because if he can absorb Ryu, he can go blow for blow as Ryu can go blow for blow with him. But eventually, Kirby still has his own powers as well. Like, he could suck up Ryu again and spit him back out. He could go into the block and things like that. So if Ryu did end up going Dark Hadouken, Kirby could suck him back up.
And get the dark
And
side, yeah.
Equal it out. So then if they come down to the stalemate, they're still evenly matched. So it's really like a flip of a coin.
Right. It's out of 100 battles, it's like 51-49.
It's such a close margin, and realistically, because we're also not looking by Smash Ultimate rules, we're looking at Ryu from Street Fighter 2 and Kirby from Smash Ultimate. We're looking at them in their most fighting form, so that's what makes it even harder, is trying to connect these two together to make it a fair fight.
I gotta go Kirby, just because I think he could go blow to blow longer than Ryu eventually, but you could go either way. This could very well be Ryu going into the final four. In fact, we're gonna go final five. This last one's gonna be triple threat: Mega Man X
You're going
versus
SmackDown
Ryu
rules
versus Kirby.
My question is, how do we argue this though? If it was there's three of us and three people,
and then we've got three characters that can do the Hadouken.
Yeah, it's not a fair fight.
All right, that's it. We're nixing the tournament. Last round, 16-man battle royale. Fortnite rules.
Man, you just gotta outlast the closing cloud.
Now,
I don't know, guys. Like we said, that was a close one. I have to agree. And I was the one defending Ryu.
It was such a
Kirby
close
is
fight.
such a wild card because and as he'll find out in this next round, with him being adaptable, not only adapting but adapting to that character and gaining all of their powers and none of their weaknesses, that's the problem. Like if it was just someone taking Ryu's powers
That's one.
and they use the Dark Hadu, they would burn up and then die. So Ryu would win.
And the other thing with Kirby is, I've seen his punches. They may not do a lot of damage, but they are fast.
And they rack up quickly.
He could, worst case scenario, body blows. He could go brick, dodge a blow, like 6 punches, brick, dodge a blow. Like it's.
The other
I don't
thing
like that
is I don't necessarily see Kirby as like a fighter.
No.
I mean, he'll attack and he'll defend himself, whereas Ryu's a trained fighter, so he wouldn't necessarily have to worry about all those blows. But when it comes down to just the power set, the move set,
Yeah.
Kirby's got that edge on him.
And Kirby's going to keep coming back.
Exactly.
It's a tough. I am looking forward to our final 4 because we've got Arbiter and Laura Croft, which is a fair matchup.
Yeah, and this one,
Mega Man X and Kirby.
this is the match of adaptability.
Yes.
Both of them adapt to their situation, and realistically, just thinking about this now, when Kirby absorbs Mega Man X, I will say right now, he's not gaining all of those chips. What he's gaining is essentially the Mega Buster, the default moves that Mega Man X had before taking down the Mavericks. Whatever abilities he had, that's what he has.
Yep.
So he doesn't have the extra skills.
Doesn't have the armor, nothing.
But he does still have his default
I don't want to
weapons.
judge in a Kirby match.
You're gonna have to.
But
Joe, get back here.
that's not the next one, guys. So
No, next one is
Arbiter?
Arbiter and Laura Croft. That'll be a good one.
Thanks, guys.